Hey, it's me, OGDuffy, and I'm back with a versus video to tie it in with the release of the latest Sega Mania magazine. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Castlevania. So those of you that have received your latest edition of Sega Mania will know the outcome of this versus, but it'll be fun to watch anyway because we'll look at gameplay from these both classic systems. Okay, now Castlevania is a really long running franchise in the game world now. I mean, it's huge, it's absolutely huge. Now for those that are interested in this magazine, if you haven't already done so, let me find my article. There it is, there I am, in print. There you go. So we're looking at 1994, this one, all right? So we're going to be looking at the Castlevania and see how it comes out. All the links are there for Sega Mania. If you're interested, jump on board. It's a great little publication, all right? Without further ado, let's get to it. We're going to be looking at Castlevania 4 or Super Castlevania on the SNES, the Super Nintendo, and then we're going to be looking at Castlevania A New Generation, or The New Generation on the Sega Megadrive, or the Genesis if you're that side of the pond. But if you're that side of the pond, you would have known it as Bloodlines, because here in Europe and the UK and Australia, we weren't brave enough to have the title of blood or the use of the word blood in the title. That is actually true.
Are you kidding me?
Konami changed the names. They didn't think it was very fitting and it put people off buying it. That is truth. My God, rock and roll. Anyway, without further ado, let's go look at the SNES version first. Stick around, because remember at the end, you'll get my verdict. Super Castlevania 4, as it was known on the Super Nintendo, was released in 1991. Although released on a smattering of computer systems, this Konami game was exclusive to Nintendo consoles initially. The NES before the SNES console release. It was met with great reviews from the magazines of the time, and it proved to be a great addition to the Castlevania series. This outing featured the hero Simon. Now personally, I always found that name a bit weird for a hero of a game. I don't know, let me know in the comments do you agree or disagree. He'd enter Dracula's castle to undertake 11 levels of action platform gaming, defeating an end of level boss on each, which inevitably ended with the master of the castle. Of course, none other than Dracula himself. Simon's main weapon of choice is a whip, which also serves to aid him in movement between ledges and the like. Alongside the whip, there are other collectible weapons, like an axe and a knife, and all aid you in your quest. Graphically, this was bright, with the sprites and backgrounds really well presented and suited to the theme of the game. The Super Nintendo makes great use of its Mode 7 and Super effects, applying some really well designed 3D sections to levels, which were a great addition to the game. The sound was clear, with good effects and a rather impressive soundtrack, which actually reworked some of the original tunes from the original NES games themselves. So all in all, that was the SNES version. Very impressive. How well can the MegDrive do based on that performance? That concludes the SNES version. I have a lot of love for the SNES people, but let's go take a look now at the mighty Sega Megadrive stroke Genesis and see how well they did on this, shall we? And remember, let me know in the comments your thoughts, your memories. Do you agree, do you disagree with my verdict that's coming up at the very end? Let's get to it. Sega Megadrive. Clarify, this was not the same game as the SNES version, but both had similarities. The original title, given for the Sega release, was Castlevania Bloodlines, but it was changed to Castlevania The New Generation for Australia and Europe. The reason for this Konami felt the word blood in the title would not appeal to gamers in Australia and Europe. Personally, I don't understand this at all, but hey ho, onwards and upwards. So, title aside, was Castlevania on the Megadrive any good? The Megadrive version was released in 1994, several years after the SNES variant release, and followed a different storyline to that of the SNES, which saw the player travelling Europe through several levels. Gameplay was similar in respect to platforming and destroying enemies whilst battling bosses at various stages. A major change though was the choice of hero. Gone was the traditional hero of Simon. He was replaced by the choice of either John Morris, not dissimilar to the SNES Simon hero, who also wields a whip, or Eric Lecard, who used a lengthy spear as his weapon of choice. Both characters had their positives and their negatives. The graphics for the Megadrive were not as bright as the SNES, but this added to the ambience of the dark theme that goes alongside the Castlevania series. Some great effects were used in some of the level designs, particularly the reflecting pools and the swinging tower levels, to name just two. Just like the SNES game, the soundtrack running throughout the game was really impressive, and it suited the atmosphere superbly. Although the sound effects were not as good as they could have been. This said, the soundtrack more than made up for this shortfall. So that concludes the Megadrive version. We've looked at the SNES and we've looked at the Megadrive. Let's go get my verdict. That concludes the awesome Castlevania. What a game, honestly. Still as playable today as it was then. It's a real masterpiece. And a few quid if you want to buy it too. Initially, graphically, I thought the SNES was better because it was brighter. It just looked really nice. But then when you start playing the game, especially on the Megadrive, and you start getting right into it, it's a bit darker on the Megadrive, which is very befitting this game's theme. Obviously Castlevania and Dracula and all that. So if anything, the muted tones, I feel, added to the whole effect of the game. So for that reason, Megadrive takes it in round one of the graphics. And now, on to the all-important gameplay. Because let's be honest, it's all about the gameplay. As pretty as a game can look, doesn't necessarily make it a great game to play. Now, both versions are incredible games, okay? Great platform, whip-cracking fun, or spear-jabbing fun, if you choose the other character on the Megadrive. Now, the levels on both games are truly unique and original, and both really well laid out. I mean, the 3D effects as well, and everything else just encourages gameplay. It just really sort of suckers you in, and it's great. Thoroughly enjoyable on both systems, but I have to pick just one. So I'm going to go for gameplay, I'm going to go for the Megadrive Genesis, simply because I felt that the option of choosing the extra character, playing with different characters and stuff, added a different angle and different spin to the game. But let's be honest, it's a very close fought battle, between the two, because both are absolutely huge, brilliant games on both systems. But the Megadrive takes it, so it's 2-0 to the Megadrive now. And now it's all about the sound. Okay, firstly, I've got to tip my hat to both systems. The soundtrack running throughout both games was excellent. It really was, you know. It was a great musical score. It just played brilliant. The ambience of the game and everything was just befitting the sound. It was really good. Gameplay sound-wise, the whip crack on the SNES, yeah. The whip crack on the Megadrive stroke Genesis, nah, they didn't do it for me, I'm afraid. So sound effects wise, the SNES takes it. And when we listen to the soundtrack as well, I think the Super Nintendo, Super Famicom just edges it. I think it's better. I mean, it takes some of them classic original tunes from the original NES game and reworks them, and it does a tremendous job of it. So I tip my hat to the Super Nintendo. It takes it for the sound. The overall verdict, it goes to Sega Megadrive / Genesis. Very close fought battle though, to be absolutely honest. And I think the only real winner in all of this is you guys. If you own a copy of this on either of the systems, you're A, very lucky, and B, you've got an awesome game on your hand, and C, it's worth a few notes. I mean, there's just a few of the values right there, you know. Obviously, them values do change over time. They might go up more, they might come down, who knows? But anyway, this has been a real joy to visit. And as I said right at the beginning, let me know in the comments your thoughts about this game. Have I got the verdict right? Do you agree? Do you disagree? If so, let me know in the comments. We love a little debate here on the OGDuffy channel. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button because I greatly appreciate it. Puts a smile on my face, makes me a happy, happy man, you know? So anyway, if you enjoyed that versus video, why not check out that one? Or that one? Or just check out the playlist on the channel because I've got loads of these versus videos going on. And suggestions. Let me have your suggestions. And finally, if you haven't got a copy of Sega Mania magazine, go check it out on the website. It's a great publication and it features the OGDuffy. Anyway, I'm out.